So everyone is saying Strand is terrible, but that's because they don't realize its potential. They also didn't try it with a bow. Stick around to the end. I'll show you some cool stuff like this. Yes, I know they weren't moving. It's for science. Now let's learn some Strand. The first bit of advice I have for you guys when using Strand is something that I want you to keep in mind no matter what. Anytime you're grappling, anywhere you use it, if you're not careful with the angle and your feet touch the ground, it will cause you to fall out of the grapple immediately. So just be mindful of your angle sometimes. So our first maneuver using the bow and the grapple is just going to be kind of a simple repeek, like you see me doing here. Basically, you'll take the first shot with the bow, and instead of repeaking like you would normally, you'll come in at a different angle, typically somewhere up high because the grapple can get you up to higher places. You don't necessarily have to do straight up, you could go in at an angle if there's a wall in the way, but this is a pretty basic maneuver and should be pretty easy to nail pretty quick. Our next maneuver here involves using the grapple to chase down an opponent that's weak. So say you get the first shot off, you can immediately grapple straight towards them and finish them with the bow. Now, depending on if they have any allies near them, you may not always want to use this right away. You got to be kind of careful with this one as it's going to get you killed. But if you know somebody's singled out or you think you can quickly swoop in and finish them off and then get back out, by all means, after that first shot, dive after them and get them. But be careful, just make sure they don't blast you in the face with the shotgun as soon as you dive in there. Our final little general maneuver here is a jump shot into a grapple melee. Now hunters, you can pre-draw and be jumping while you draw. Warlocks and Titans, since you can't draw while jumping, you'll want to try to come out at the height of your jump before pulling off this maneuver. Otherwise, you could fall a little short and drag your feet on the ground and then cancel it altogether. So now I'm going to lay out some differences between the classes, and on the heels of what we were just talking about, Titans, you can do a similar bow shot grapple melee if you're wearing Lion Rampants. You just have to hip fire. Warlocks, you don't really need to do the bow grapple that much because, in case you didn't already know, your grapple melee is quite strong already. Now Hunters, if you combo a headshot with a precision or lightweight bow, followed by a quick powered melee, you can get a quick and easy mid-range kill. Warlocks, you can also do the exact same thing, except you also get a couple more charges when doing this. Titans, you have to be fairly close to land your melee combo, but you have the benefit of not needing a headshot to pull the combo off. Now Warlocks, you can go for a bow headshot and then immediately duck behind cover and cast your Rift to release Threadlings to finish them off. You can also preemptively cast your Rift if you know they're around the corner, and try to time the headshot at the exact time to Threadlings attack, resulting in a near instant kill. If any class doesn't like the grapple, you can swap it out for a Threadling grenade and have that to combo with your melee takedowns. Just throw out the grenade and shoot them with a headshot at the same time for a quick and easy kill. Now if any class kills an enemy after they've been hit with one of their Strand abilities, they can generate a tangle. You can then pick up this tangle, run and find another enemy or a group of enemies and throw the tangle at them, dealing about 101 damage. It doesn't have to hit them directly as it's got a small AoE and it will deal 101 damage as long as it lands kinda near them. You can then finish them off with an easy bow shot. And Hunters, similar to your Shatter Dive, I recommend keeping your Stasis Dodge in your back pocket so that whenever you're mid-air, you can use it to backflip into cover and get yourself back to safety. And now on to some more advanced grappling maneuvers. Whenever you grapple onto a point, if you move your movement key or stick to the left or right while centering your camera onto the grapple point, you can swing around it. If you do this continuously, you can nearly indefinitely spin around and around. A more practical use of this skill would be used to swing around obstacles, in order to either get away from someone or to flank. Now just be sure whenever you want to exit the swing early, you want to hit the grapple button again to release. Press it once to grapple of course, but if you press it again, it'll cancel. This can be done at any time that you want to exit your swing. One thing to keep in mind due to the nature of the grapple is that you can only swing horizontally around it as I just showed you. Otherwise you'll always be pulled straight towards it. But this can be very useful for getting away from somebody chasing you or just wanting to reposition very quickly. Remember how I said you could cancel your grapple by pressing the grapple button again? Well, you can also cancel your grapple by drawing the bow. This can make for some sort of psych out kills on people where you hit them once and then pretend to grapple, but draw your bow right as you grapple and instead repeat and shoot them again. One advanced technique that hunters can use is something I've taken to calling a grapple jump, like you just saw me do there, where it allows you to get extra velocity and distance to chase down a target or just surprise someone and get a lot of distance. Now that was an example of an incorrect one. It didn't go quite as far as you saw from the first one. And also, just for comparison, here's a regular jump, so you can see that I'm getting about as far as the boxes here. But if you're doing the proper technique, what you want to do is, you want to jump, grapple, and right as the grapple connects, you jump again to cancel the grapple. I'll slow it down here just a little bit to make it easier. You jump initially, grapple, and right as you see the tangle form at the end of your grapple, you press the jump button again, thus canceling the grapple, and actually it'll refund half of your grapple, which is another useful little bit of that trick. Another thing to note about hunters is that whenever you grapple, it refunds one of your jumps. This can be very useful for covering long distances if you say expend all of your jumps, then grapple, then jump again, and then grapple again, and then jump again, which should be able to cover most gaps in the game that you need to cross. One important thing to note about this technique though, if you ever want to do the previous grapple jump like I talked about, you have to always leave a jump in your back pocket. Because otherwise, when you go to grapple, you won't have a jump to instantly cancel it and get the boosted momentum. Now as a hunter, whenever you use your grapple, you also create these little anchor points that you or any other class can grapple to, and it will refresh your grapple. Using this in the previous sort of little maneuver, you can pretty much indefinitely stay in the air in an area. Now there's not a whole lot of practicality to this, especially in an open area. Somebody's definitely going to see you in the crucible and be like, hey, look at that idiot swinging around, and they're going to shoot you in the butt. But if you were to put this anchor up in a doorway or up somewhere high in kind of enclosed area, it could create a useful point for you to repeatedly keep launching yourself up in the air in, just to confuse your opponents. Well, that's all I got, so I hope y'all find this helpful. As a couple side notes, I would also like to mention that hand cannons, SMGs, and sidearms are also very good when paired with Strand. This build does also apply to PvE. I know it's very PvP focused, but a lot of these techniques can also be utilized in PvE as well. And also, when it comes to suspend abilities, those are really best in PvE. In fact, they're very strong in PvE, but in PvP, they're just going to get you killed most of the time, so in my opinion, they're not really worth it. I would have had a few more segments on these, but they were kind of small, and I already put a lot into this video already. So come on, give me a like or I'll bite you on the elbow like a deranged Chiweenie. Also, thanks for watching.